As you probably know by now, if you've been on the Terraria forums or watching my videos, we are finally on the verge of getting 1.4.5, which will bring a number of new features to Terraria. But if you want to be able to use all of them as soon as you get the update, there are some things you should probably do beforehand to make sure you won't run into any roadblocks, which is exactly what I'll be covering in this video. Starting off with something we've all been waiting on for a long time at this point, we have the Dead Cells items. This was an official crossover announced a while ago, but we only just recently got to see what Terraria will be getting in it. But actually obtaining those items might not be so easy at first. Relogic is known for keeping certain major features and updates a secret upon release, so if you want to get your hands on the Dead Cells items as soon as possible, I'd say your best bet is to look into the Dead Cells game and learn what it's about. While I'll of course have videos out ASAP covering everything in the update once it's out, the last few references and crossover items we got were also secretive, but they were all obtained in some way that relates to the game. So if you know Dead Cells, then there's a chance you might just be able to find the items for yourself, or even be the first person to figure them out in the first place. Moving on to things that might be left in 1.4.4, we have two useful glitches. The first one is a simple crystal shard duplication glitch, which allows you to get a ton of money quickly, and it's done by making the setup I have on screen now and placing a crystal into the open block to the left of the platform. And as for the second glitch, if there's any bosses you're having trouble with, there are currently two glitched chests that you can use to give yourself God mode, so your minions can defeat anything you need while you just sit there. These two chests can be obtained through the recent transmutation glitch, or you can more easily get them through my custom map. But regardless of how you get them, I recommend watching my video going over this glitch, so that way you can understand it fully, which I'll have linked in the description. One of the biggest features in 1.4.5 will be the ability to combine secret seeds into one world, but there are some things you can do to prepare for this neat feature. Firstly, if you haven't already, you should go ahead and try to play through the secret seeds yourself, which I have on screen now. Each one of these massively changes the world, and knowing what each one does will give you a small advantage when making combinations of them. You can also take this a step further if you're on PC and use T-Edit to force your world to be multiple secret seeds. But this will only change the game's rules and nothing with the world generation. And if you take this even further, you can play the custom map Red made at the start of this year using this feature, which you can find either by using the Steam Workshop link in the description, or for mobile users by getting it from my custom map section in my Discord server, which is also in the description. Besides the secret seed stuff, something else you'll want to go ahead and do if you haven't already is beat Moonlord, which may seem like a no-brainer at first, but it's actually because there will be new items relating to Moonlord. The first item is, of course, the Stardust Whip we got shown about a month ago at this point. So assuming it follows roughly the same crafting recipes as the other items in the Stardust set, you will need to get a good bit of Luminite ores and Stardust fragments, which are both only obtainable through Moonlord. The next Moonlord item is something that the community is unsure of at the moment, but I decided to go ahead and mention it here anyway just in case, which is a Moonlord Whip. A while ago at this point, Red confirmed that 1.4.5 will be getting a Moonlord Whip, but we don't know if that was referring to the Stardust Whip, or if it's one of the two whips that we haven't gotten a clear picture of yet. Regardless of if we will be getting one or two whips out of Moonlord, it's a good idea to work on your strategy against him, and make a good number of Celestial Sigils, so that way you can grind him until you get the new items. Speaking of whips, we know about another two coming in this update, which will be ones based on the evil biomes. Just like it sounds, these will be new whips based on the Corruption and Crimson biomes, but if you want to make sure you can get your hands on them as soon as 1.4.5 is out, there are some things you can do to prepare for them. Firstly, you will without a doubt need the whip's respective evil biome to obtain them, so I recommend making a drunk secret seed world and beating the wall of flesh on it. I say you want to go ahead and get into hard mode on this world, just in case there happens to be hard mode only weapons, but I'm gonna say that there's a good chance there'll be pre-hard mode ones. Besides getting into hard mode, you should also go ahead and stock up on the boss summons for each biome, as there is a chance they will only be drops from those bosses. If they aren't drops from the bosses, however, instead, I just recommend making small evil biome farms in one of your main worlds, and then using that to get each of them quickly. These farms should be off the ground, have a water candle placed nearby, and also make sure you're using summoner weapons. So that way, you can just sit back and wait until you either see the whips drop, or see the items you need to craft them drop. And finally, getting to the smaller things now, you should go ahead and build a small ocean setup, so that way you can check out the new pufferfish easily. While we don't know everything about this mob just yet, we know there is a new pet of it that will change form performs when it's on land or water, and that there's a likely chance you can use it in new crafting recipes as well. So, making sure you have a safe area to either dive or fish in the ocean might just end up saving you a lot of time. Moving on, something that I personally feel like will end up being really useful in 1.4.5 is a shimmer setup. Shimmer was just added in the last big Terraria update, and while there are already a lot of uses for it, I just think it would make sense for Logic to add more to it in the update after it, which will be 1.4.5 of course. For this, all you need to do is find your Aether biome, which you can find underneath the beach that's on the same side as your jungle, and then throw a bottomless bucket of water into it, which will turn it into a shimmer version. This will allow you to set up a small shimmer setup wherever you want in your world, and even older worlds, in case you still haven't switched over to a 1.4.5 world just yet. And finally, for the last thing I recommend you doing is going after all of the achievements in Terraria right now, as if you do ever want to get all of them, odds are this update will make them harder with new achievements, just like 1.4.4 did. That wraps up my list of things you should do before 1.4.5 comes out. While this is just my personal list, be sure to tell me in the comments if you have any tips you think would help out even more. And also, comment Puffer to let me know you made it this far. Thanks for sticking to the end. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Terraria videos like this in the future. And as always, make sure to have a wonderful day.